Hi everyone, this is Mr. West. Today we're doing a Khan Academy tutorial on multiply binomials by polynomials. Now the sound might not be the best because I don't have my mic with me, but I woke up this morning and I realized I never made this video. So this is an important video because most of the time you see binomials by binomials, but this is an important one because it's polynomials. So we're asked to multiply these two together and we have to write it in standard form. So let's go ahead and start with the basics. Hopefully you've already seen binomials by binomials. That's something like this. And the premise of this, essentially we need to match up. I like to think of this first one. This is the one we're going to be multiplying. Okay, and we want to match up both in the first set of parentheses with the second set of parentheses. So this x we want to multiply by both terms inside the second parentheses. And the same thing goes for, let's go red, the second number, whoops. The second number, we want to do the same thing. We want to multiply by both numbers in the second set of parentheses. But what if we have 3 like we have in this problem? Well, again, I like to always start with, well, in this case, the first one is a bigger one. So I always kind of like to go to this smaller one and distribute those, but it honestly doesn't matter. And I'll kind of describe what I'm talking about. So what I do is I'm going to take the smaller of the two, in this case, the less terms. This is a binomial, and this is a polynomial, a trinomial, okay? And I'm going to multiply this first b by each one of these terms. That's how I'm going to match it up with each one of the terms in the other parentheses. And that means I'm going to do negative b times 4. Okay, if I can write a 4. I'm going to do plus negative b times 4b. Okay, in this case it's going to be a minus, so I can get rid of that plus because it's going to be a minus. And then the last one is going to be minus again because I have negative b times b squared. Okay, they're all going to be minuses because of that negative b. Now, I got that done. That's the first part. I also have to distribute this 3, and I have to match this up and multiply it by all 3 of those terms in that polynomial, that trinomial. In this case, they're all going to be positive because the 3 is positive and all those 3 terms are positive, okay? As you can see, positive, positive, and that 3 is positive. So I'm going to have a positive 4 times 3 plus a positive 4 times, or 3 times, I should just leave that 3 in front, shouldn't I? Here, let's make that 3 times 4, just for organization's sake, 3 times 4, times 3 times 4b, and then plus 3 times b squared. Now I just have to finish up and clean this up and then combine like terms. So we're going to start with the cleanup process. I like to use one color for this. So I have a negative b times 4, that's negative 4b, minus 4b, 2 b's this time, so that's going to be b squared, minus b, and then 2b, b squared there, so that's going to be b to the 3rd power. Then here I have 12. Okay, 3 times 4. I have 12b, because there's a b in there now, and then 3b squared. The final step, combine like terms. So I'm looking for anything that's the same. So I have a b squared here, a b squared here. Let's change color. I have a b here, I have a b here. And the b cubed and the 12 are kind of by themselves. They don't have any other like terms. So now we can write our final result. And because it's in standard form, we need to start with the biggest term first. So that's negative b cubed. Okay. Now we're going to go to b squareds. In this case, we have negative 4b squared and a 3b squared. That gives me negative b squared. Next is b's, and I can cross them off as I go too. That's a good strategy just to stay organized. Then I have negative 4b plus 12b. That's positive 8b. And then I have positive 12 because he's all by himself. So my final answer is going to be negative b cubed minus b squared plus 8b plus 12. Okay, let's see if I can remember that. Negative b to the 3rd power minus b squared plus 8b plus 12. Let's check to see if I wrote that right. I think it is, okay, according to my calculations. Okay, and we're going to check it, and we'll move on to the next question. Okay, same thing here. This time the binomial is written first, so it's going to be a little bit easier for us, but the same process, okay? So we're going to distribute this 2 to all the terms inside this polynomial, that trinomial, because there's 3 terms. And we're going to do the same thing with the negative 5y. We're going to distribute to all 3 terms, okay? So we're going to start with the 2. This one should be easier. And now I'm going to do the multiplication as I go so I don't have the extra step. So I do 2 times y squared, that's 2y squared. 2 times 6y gives me 12y. And then 2 times 9 gives me 18. That's the first easier of the two. And now we have the negative 5y. Okay, since these are all positive, they're going to be negative because that negative 5y is negative. Okay, so you can see that negative sign. It's going to make these all negative. So we have a negative 5y cubed. That's the first one when I multiply by y squared. Then negative 30. That's 5 times 6 is 30, negative. And then I have y squared. And my last one is negative 45, because that's 5 times 9, negative, and then that y is at the end. I'm looking for common terms, for like terms, for this final part. I have no other y cubes. That's my biggest term, so I can go ahead and jot that one down, actually. What was it? 5y cubed. That's a sloppy 5. Here, let me fix it. Okay, and then my next one, so I can cross that one off. My next one is y squared. Any other y squareds? Yes, there are. There's always going to be, almost always going to be like terms with these. That's negative 60y squared. Oh, I'm not multiplying, sorry. I'm adding. So that's going to be negative 28y squared. Cross those ones off. Done with that. I have some y's, just plain old y's. And that's going to give me negative. The 45 wins out. That's a negative. And then that's 33y. Okay, and then finally it's the 18, and he's by himself, so I do add 18. Okay, so this one I might need a reference. So I have negative 5y cubed, negative 5y cubed, and then I have minus 28y squared, minus 28y squared, minus 33y, and then what's that, plus 18, plus 18. Okay, hopefully I didn't make a typo. I did not. All right, this time we just have a binomial, so this one should be pretty straightforward. Okay, we're going to distribute here and here. Okay, and I'm going to use all one color now just because you guys are getting used to it. And then I'm going to distribute that 5 to the negative b squared and also the 7. You could also go the reverse direction. That's what I was referencing earlier, but it doesn't make a difference. So I have b squared times negative b squared. That gives me negative b to the 4th power. And then I have 7b squared. That's the top. Okay, so that's the top one. I just finished that. Now we're moving on to the bottom. Don't forget to pause this at any time if I'm ever going too fast, so you can jot it down. So I have negative 5b squared and then plus 35. Okay, now we're going to combine like terms. In this case, we have 7b squared and negative 5b squared. Those might be our only ones. So I get 2b squared, and then I have negative b to the 4th plus 2b squared is positive. So we only have a trinomial as a result. So I have negative b to the 4th power. I need to get that back down. How do I back down? There we go. And then plus 2b squared plus 2b squared, and then plus 35. And I think we're on to the last one now. There we go. Okay, so again, we have another trinomial. Like I said in the previous problem, you could essentially go like this and distribute this, and then distribute this, and distribute this. I think this is a little bit more complicated because you have more arrows. I like to go from the smaller one to the bigger one. So I like to go this direction a little bit more just because I think it's a little bit more neat. Less to keep track of, in my opinion. But you can do it in whatever method you see fit. So I'm going to do 2n squared times 1. That's 2n. Plus, oops, that's going to be minus because it's a minus 3n. Minus, I'm doing this top one first, just FYI. Minus 6n squared. And then I have plus 2n cubed. Then I have plus 3, minus 9n, and then plus 3n squared. Combine like terms. So I'm going to start with my biggest one, 2n cubed. There's no other ones like that. Then I have my n squareds. That's going to give me negative 3n squared when I combine those two. Then I have my n's, so I get negative 7n. Those are done. And then I have plus 3, he's by himself. So again, 2n cubed, and that's minus 3n squared, minus 3n squared. And then I have minus 7n, and then plus 3. And that's the last bit of that, and there we go. So that's multiply binomials by polynomials on Khan Academy. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a comment if you need more help on any other topic, any other Khan Academies, etc. Check out my other videos, and I look forward to seeing you next time right here on West Explains Best.